Welcome, family, to my video. Today I'm going to be talking about living in denial after my PTSD diagnosis. This is my third video in my PTSD journey. I'm going to open up about struggling with my diagnosis and living in denial after being told that I have severe PTSD. Family, I was diagnosed in 2018 by my psychologist that I had severe PTSD. I was in denial for a very long time. And with that being said, uh, I was hurt on my job in 2017 by a patient. And I was in denial for a long time. Sometimes when I talk about it, it still bothers me, but I've learned how to push on. 2018, I met a doctor. He was a psychologist, and I was told that I had severe PTSD. I cried and I cried because I wanted to go back to work. They told me that I couldn't go back to work because of my severe PTSD. I had injuries, I had physical injuries, I had surgeries on my arm because I had a torn rotator cuff. I had two black eyes. I had uh, contusion in my jaw. And sometimes on this side of my face, that's why I don't wear makeup because I don't want to hide it. So every time I take off my makeup, then there's that spot over there. There is still part of his knuckle, this part of his knuckle in my face. And I have gotten to this day to come out of denial and know that it was there. Being in denial is not a good thing because it almost got me to a point where I uh, couldn't do treatment. I couldn't be in treatment. I cried every day. Uh, I wanted to go back to work. And every time I thought about going back to work, all these symptoms start popping up. So I am going to talk about symptoms in my next video because I had a lot of symptoms, and I'm going to talk about each symptom and what each symptom did to me. But denial was not a river in Egypt, and I had to understand that. So uh, dealing with different types of personalities is what I was working with. I look back at myself and everything that I had learned in school, everything that I had learned at work, all the experience that I had just went away. And I was just me. Not understanding uh, about PTSD, severe PTSD, I didn't want to have it. So I just stayed in therapy, not understanding how long therapy was going to take me. I didn't know uh, what type of treatment I was going to go through. I was afraid. I didn't come outside. I was so scared. I didn't come outside. I stayed in the house a lot. I stayed away from people. I stayed away from big crowds. I would go in the stores early in the morning, and you couldn't get me in the store in the afternoon. You couldn't get me in the store, and you couldn't get me around big crowds. So all I did was just stay in the house. I found things to do in my house because I didn't want to go out. I always talk about my daughter in my videos because she was always there. Tawana, I love you because you was there for me from the beginning, and she still has not left my side today. And here I am 8 years later, and I'm talking about the journey I went through, and I'm still in treatment. But I have gotten better through the years. But one thing that I had to do was to stay in treatment. You have to stay in treatment. You have to stay in treatment. Because if you don't stay in treatment and you get off the boat, then you're going to jump in the water and you might drown. So, with that being said, uh, I love the people that I work with. I'm also going to talk about in one of my videos, uh, Dr. Keisha Baum, who I was with for 3 years. I stayed with him for 3 consecutive years, seeing him 2 to 3 times a week. And I stuck by it. When I say I stuck by it, I stuck by it. I needed him more than anything. Along with Jesus and my daughter, Dr. Keisha Baum, he was there. And so I'm going to talk about that in one of my videos. Denial is not, you have to take it very serious. I learned to stay in therapy. I learned to talk to my family. I learned to just get through treatment and understand how to deal with the denial. And I did. I learned how to deal with denial, and it took a while for me to say, okay, you, Diane, you got PTSD. And then they put the severe on there, severe PTSD. Oh, so with that being said, family, if you have with any mental illness and you get a diagnosis, whether it's schizophrenia, whether it's bipolar, whatever your diagnosis is, stick with it. I'm also going to talk about that in another video. I'm also going to talk about different types of drugs and stuff that I didn't do and I did stay away. There were times that I did want to get drunk, trust me and believe me, but I'm going to talk about that in another video. So, family, thank you for joining me in this video. Um, Please come back and walk with me on my journey through my PTSD. And I'm going to talk about a lot of things that I went through to get me to where I am today as a mental health counselor, as a person, and how I was able to get a higher being to understand what I have today. So, family, with that being said, join me for another one of my videos. And I'm going to talk about a lot of things through my videos that I'm hoping that can help someone else uh, and understand that treatment is a great thing to do when you're going through different types of mental illness. You can get to a point where you can control it, but you have to learn how to control it through treatment. So with that being said, join me in another one of my videos. And family, thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you.